Welcome back. Today, we're stepping into a pretty unusual scene, an ancient courtroom. But this isn't just any trial. We're talking about a case where an entire nation is on the stand. And the prosecutor? Well, it's God himself. So, what does happen when God decides to put an entire nation on trial? That is the question we're diving into today. We're cracking open the ancient prophetic book of Micah to witness this incredible, dramatic divine lawsuit, where God literally acts as the prosecutor, the judge, and the key witness against the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. All right, first up, a prophet's urgent warning. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this high-stakes courtroom drama, we've got to set the stage. Who is this guy Micah? And when is all of this actually happening? So Micah is speaking right in the middle of some incredibly turbulent times. The terrifying Neo-Assyrian Empire is just sweeping through the region, a true military superpower. But here's the twist. The text doesn't see them as the main characters in this story. No, it presents them as God's chosen instrument of judgment. So this isn't just political commentary. It's a divine message being delivered smack in the middle of a massive historical crisis. Okay, so the court is now in session. The accusation is about to be read, and it's not a private affair. The whole world is being called to pay attention. The book literally kicks off with this universal summons. The Hebrew word here, Shema, it's powerful. It means listen or hear me. God isn't just talking to Israel and Judah, he's calling the entire planet to the witness stand. Right away, this just raises the stakes sky high, framing what's about to happen as an event with cosmic significance. So, what's the charge? The prosecution gets right to the point. It's a kind of spiritual sickness, a deep-seated corruption identified as the sin of Jacob, and the idolatry of the high places, and it's festering in the very centers of power. The capitals, Samaria up north and Jerusalem down south. The problem is starting from the top down. And what's really fascinating here is how Micah talks about this like a contagion. He's warning the southern kingdom, Judah, saying, hey, that sin that took down the north, it's not just their problem anymore. He calls it a spiritual pandemic. The text says the wound is incurable, and it has already reached the very gates of Jerusalem. There's nowhere left to run. With the case presented, the judge arrives to deliver the verdict, and his arrival is so powerful, it literally shakes the foundations of the world. Now, this is way more than just beautiful poetry. It's this powerful image of a world, of a created order, that just cannot stand the presence of a holy God coming to execute justice. When God steps into the picture to deal with sin, the very fabric of nature starts to unravel. And here is where things get really creative. Micah uses this brilliant series of puns in Hebrew, linking the names of different towns to the fate that's coming for them. For instance, the name of the city, Lachish, sounds like the Hebrew for team of horses. So what's their judgment? They're told to harness their horses, to run for their lives. The name Achzib sounds like the word for deception, so Micah says the city will become a deception. The punishment is poetical, baked right into their identity. It's incredible. But this isn't some cold, detached legal proceeding, not at all. The personal reaction of the prophet, Micah himself, it reveals the heart behind this whole divine judgment. This is a truly shocking display. Micah doesn't just talk about the coming disaster, he performs his sorrow. He embodies it. He literally takes on the shame and grief of his people for everyone to see, wailing like a jackal and moaning like an owl. It's this raw, visceral expression of pain. And the crucial thing to get here is that these aren't tears of anger. They're not, I told you so tears. The sources really emphasize that these are tears of love. He is weeping because the people he loves are facing what looks like an incurable devastation, and his heart is breaking right alongside God's. And all of this brings us to the real core of Micah's warning, a message that travels from an ancient courtroom right into a very modern, very personal question for every one of us. The text specifically calls out that city, Lachish, which was a major military fortress. It's called the beginning of sin for Jerusalem. And why? What was their big crime? Well, it's because they put their trust in human strength and technology, their impressive horses, their war chariots, instead of putting their trust in God. They looked to their own power for security. And this, right here, is where Micah's 2,700-year-old prophecy becomes incredibly relevant to us today. It forces us to ask, what are our modern-day chariots? What are the things we rely on for our security, for our identity? Is it our money, our job, our tech, our social status?
The text is a stark warning that whatever we trust in more than God will in the end be powerless to save us.
And that leaves us with this final thought. This whole divine lawsuit isn't just about condemnation. The judgment, it's there to reveal what's broken, what's false. But the prophet's tears, which really reflect God's own heartbreak, they reveal what's worth saving. So the verdict is also a loving, tearful appeal to turn back before it's too late. The question is, who's listening?